Alright guys, so today we're going to be trying something new. Not new to me, but new to you guys. We're going to be taking you guys to the shop, so that way I can kind of work on a project when I have downtime at the shop. We're not always busy, so it'd be best to try to utilize that time to create some more content for you guys. So now, you know, we have the red Porsche, and not too long ago I picked up a cheap Chinese four-wheeler, the ones that I usually like to get, the ones that have a 200cc 4-speed, I believe, with reverse. So we're going to be using that engine on the red Porsche. Alright guys, so everything's all set now. We will see you tomorrow. What is going on, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. Today's an exciting day because today we are getting started on the brand new Porsche GT3 build. So we finally got a shipment of several parts that we needed to get started on this build. Brand new 1-inch live axle, hubs, wheels. I had to order a new set of tires. Same tires that are on the Mustang, same size, same everything. On this one we are going to be using a little bit of suspension. I have these control arms and spindles left over from another buggy. We ended up building full custom control arms for that one, so we had these left over. So I thought, why not use them for the Porsche and try to make it a little bit of a softer ride. That Mustang definitely did not like going through that field, so this one should be a lot better. We also have a whole bunch of pipe. This is just some of it. We're going to be building a full custom chassis on this one and see what we can do. So let's get started and see what all I can get done today. So this engine here is basically the same engine that is in the blue F-150 and the gray F-150. It is a Chinese 200cc. This one is a full sport model, so it's a 4-speed manual with reverse. So that's the good thing about these. I can usually pick these up for about $80 to $100. I can pick the whole four-wheeler up. I would like to put a bigger engine on it, but I mean, I can always get another Porsche and put a bigger engine on it whenever I get the chance. And it is fully functional. Everything works. I got to sand it down. I'm gonna paint it black and try to paint the fins right here red, so that way it kind of accents the Porsche. But like I said, more on that whenever we get the chassis and we start mocking things up. Alright guys, so I don't have a fancy tubing bender, but I do have this Harbor Freight pipe bender, 12-ton. It was given to me for free on Craigslist by a really nice guy. So after messing with it for a little bit and getting a few bends in, this is pretty much what we got here. This is going to be basically the main bone of the chassis. There's still going to be a lot more bracing going on from here to here, there to there, but I mean, I'd say for a pipe bender is actually not that bad. One side that I actually got pretty kinked was this side right here, but honestly I think it'll still be okay. Got the back section right there, and this here is going to have a swing arm because it's also going to have suspension. That's why we made the chassis come up and over like that, but it's getting there. Just a little bit more bracing to do. Alright guys, so it's currently 3rd or 4th day of this build and we have gotten quite a bit done. Look at that. So we have the main frame, we have control arms mounted, we have shock mounts, and I gotta say, these control arms really saved me a lot of time because those things are a pain in the butt to make. Spindles and control arms, I mean, what more could you ask for? So I am currently working on engine mounts for this thing. I'm going to be doing the front and the rear cross member right here that's going to go across to the other side, and that's going to be for this rear mount right there. So I was going to start on the rear axle, but I do not have a 1 1/4 inch hole saw for these things. These are going to be my bearing hangers here, so they're going to hold on to the bearing like that, and then the pipe's going to come out from the top towards the front of the frame rails right over here somewhere. And then I can figure out the shock location, and then of course the seat and all that extra stuff. So since I don't have that, I decided to go ahead and get started with the engine mounts. So hopefully by the end of this video, we won't have a roller, but we will at least have basically the whole front section of this chassis done. So let's get started on it. Alright guys, so we have the first cross member bent and cut out, notched out, ready to go, so we can set it up. And this one is going to go right back here, just like that. And then you're going to have the two tabs coming out from this to that right there, and that's going to mount the rear of the engine up. On the front, I'm probably going to wait because I have the original mounts from this thing. It's actually two pieces of sheet metal that has the holes already. So I'm just going to make a little bracket that bolts up to the chassis right here. That way whenever it's time to remove the engine for any reason, we can just unbolt it from right here, and this whole engine will come off with the mounting points. Alright guys, so I'm not gonna lie, we did get a little bit of work done off camera. We got the rear bearing mounts done, and also the swing arm kind of tacked in place. We have this brace here. We do have the outer mount right here. We will be making a inner mount right here, so that way this swing arm pivots on two mounts right here. That way it's nice and sturdy. In the center we will have the jack shaft set up, so the chain's going to come from right here from the sprocket on the engine down here to the center, hopefully directly in line with the pivot point. That way the chain doesn't tension and slack up when the suspension goes up and down. Not that this thing's going to have a whole bunch of suspension, but we still don't want to have to deal with the tension and all that. So as far as the progress we've done, we've already started bracing up the frame. So we have this one mount right here, the second mount right there, third one right there, fourth one right there. We are currently working on the cross brace that's going to go from here to there. That way it'll definitely strengthen up the frame. Also on the front, last episode we had this cross member cut out and ready to be tacked in place. We tacked it in place, and we will be working on the motor mounts. So like I said, we're trying to do a fast track build on this project. So we're going to try to get as much as we can done, and we'll go from there. All right guys, so we have both pieces cut out now, and we both are notched, ready to go. If you're in the market for a tubing notcher, this right here is a really inexpensive one. I think it was like 120 bucks on Amazon, and it's really good. So really good bang for your buck on this one. And it makes the job a lot easier. So let's go ahead and get these on the cart and see how well they fit. Alright guys, so we ran into a little bit of a snag here. I had this sitting right here and up to right there, so that way that kind of braced this whole front section and also this curb. But the body lines don't match up with the bottom frame rail. They actually go through this right there. So this was interfering with that, so it was kind of making this whole middle section crunch up, and this was raising up, so the body was not happy where it was at. So in order to fight that, we're gonna basically push this back a little bit and make that one ride off of that frame rail, because this one seems to be well out of the way. So we're just gonna sit this one right on top of that, and that should be good to go. So just marked it already. I'm gonna go notch it and test fit it and see how well that works. If not, we'll have to go to plan B. Hopefully we don't have to. Alright guys, so we completely avoided disaster by relocating the mounting point of these brace rails here. Instead of it being in front of this bar here, I basically mounted it right on top of it, and this area still contacts the frame, so it'll still do its job. I'd say it even looks a little bit cleaner, and it also clears the body, so now the body can rest where it used to right around here, and that's why this was in the way, because that thing was mounted right there. So we're gonna move on to the engine mounts, and hopefully we can get that done today. We're running a little bit low on time. We close at 6 and it is 5:30, so I'm going to try to fabricate those rear brackets there, and hopefully tomorrow, which will be the last day for this episode, we can get these front mounts done, and hopefully something for down here, so that way the engine is fully suspended through the chassis. And right now the chassis is actually sitting under its own weight. It doesn't have any bricks holding the actual chassis. The motor's sitting on these blocks, but the chassis is actually sitting under its own weight, so that's pretty cool. Alright, so let's get to fabricating these mounts. Okay, so we got the rear mounts, the rear mount brackets fabricated. Unfortunately, we're kind of out of time, so we're going to be leaving the front mounts for tomorrow, but we should be able to get this whole engine suspended tomorrow. So alright guys, so that's all we had time for in this video. So we got the motor mounts done, we got the chassis done. That's all we had time for though, so maybe in the next video we're going to be getting the rest of the suspension done and maybe even the drivetrain. So if you like what you're watching, stay tuned because the build's about to get crazier. Like and subscribe.